At the beginning of the 20th century, automobiles were a luxury reserved only for the rich. They were expensive, slow to manufacture, and extremely difficult to maintain. But one man was obsessed with an idea. Build a car that anyone could buy. That man was Henry Ford. And his vision not only created one of the most important companies on the planet, it also forever changed the way humanity works. This is the story of Ford Motor Company, the empire that put the world on wheels. Henry Ford was born in 1863 on a farm in Michigan. Since he was little, he hated agricultural work. The only thing he was really passionate about was machines. While other children played, Henry took apart clocks to understand how they worked. At age 16, he left the farm and began working as a mechanic's apprentice in Detroit. For years he worked repairing engines and learning engineering on his own. At that time, automobiles practically did not exist. Horses continued to dominate the streets. But Henry Ford was convinced of something: the future belonged to machines. In 1896, Henry Ford built his first vehicle, the quadricycle. It was a small machine with 4 wheels, a gasoline engine and a strange appearance. But it worked. Ford was excited. "I thought I was seeing the birth of the future." Shortly after, he created his first automotive company. And it failed. Investors wanted expensive and exclusive cars. Henry wanted simple, cheap vehicles. The company quickly went bankrupt. For many, that would have been the end. But for Henry Ford, it was just the beginning. In 1903, Ford Motor Company was officially born. Henry Ford had a very clear vision: making cars for the common people. At that time, a car cost as much as a house. Only millionaires could afford them. But Ford wanted to change that. Then, in 1908, he launched the automobile that would transform the world, the legendary Ford Model T. It was durable, easy to repair and much cheaper than other vehicles. The people adored him. Farmers, workers, and entire families began buying cars for the first time in their lives. But Henry Ford knew there was still a problem. Making cars was still too slow. Then he made a decision that would change industrial history forever. In 1913, Ford introduced the moving assembly line. Before that, building a car took more than 12 hours. After implementing this system, the time dropped to just 90 minutes. It was an absolute revolution. Factories around the world copied Ford's model. From cars to fast food, modern production was born thanks to that idea. In 1914, Henry Ford surprised the planet again. While other companies paid miserable salaries, Ford announced that it would pay its workers $5 a day. It was double the average salary. The businessmen thought he was crazy. But Henry understood something very important: if their employees made more money, they could buy their cars too. And it worked. Thousands of people wanted to work at Ford. The company grew explosively. For years, Ford dominated the global auto industry. The Model T was practically the king of the roads. But Henry Ford made a mistake. He refused to innovate. While other companies offered new designs and more comfort, Ford was still obsessed with the same car. Then a dangerous rival appeared: General Motors. Competition began to grow rapidly. And Ford finally understood that it had to evolve, or disappear. During World War II, Ford temporarily left automobiles to make military vehicles, engines, and airplanes. The company became a key player in American industry. After the war, Ford continued to expand throughout the planet. Decades later, iconic models such as the Ford Mustang would arrive, one of the most famous cars in history. Today, more than 100 years after its creation, Ford Motor Company remains one of the largest automotive companies in the world. But Henry Ford's true legacy goes far beyond automobiles. He changed the way factories work. It changed the economy. It changed the cities. And it showed that a single idea can completely transform the world. Because Ford didn't just build cars. Built the future. If you liked this story, subscribe to discover more incredible stories of companies, millionaires, and empires that changed the world.